We are finalizing this series today, and before I actually asked my son to join me for a short while because it was like his idea. Now my son is only 7 years old and he's already done several tours with me. We shared cooking experiences, we will, and some other tours as well. Okay, so my son is here. His name is Grisha at the moment, but I will explain everything to him. It was Grisha's idea to talk today, and he is going to talk about his grandma, Emma Levina. His grandma, we mentioned her many times actually, because she is remarkable, because this is Grisha's grandma and he misses her a lot. Гриш, would you like to say a few words about your grandma? Гриш, расскажи про бабушку. Скажи, во-первых, поздоровайся, можешь на английском. Hello, everyone. So my son actually speaks some English. He understands more than he actually says, but you can, of course, understand. He's only 7, and I have no idea which language he chooses to speak today. Okay. אתה אוהב חיים בישראל? Can. So we didn't rehearse. it, but I just asked him if he liked his life in Israel, if he's enjoying it. So can... לא אוהב. למה? So now he said that he's not enjoying it. But I understand we have some hardships. Okay. Да, конечно, можно. Давай, рассказывай. Что ты хочешь сказать?
Короче, у меня все происходит не так. Меня часто бьют, у меня часто происходит...
Ну, я понимаю, конечно, зайчик, что есть конфликты. But,
и все.
Окей, расскажи, пожалуйста, про бабушку свою. Как ее зовут? А что она делает?
Ну, она работает в школе, в классах от 9 до 11.
Ага, so your grandma is a school teacher. Okay, she teaches in the high school from 9 to 11. Okay. На каких языках она говорит?
На эстонском.
Ага. А сколько языков?
На русском,
ага.
На английском, на испанском, немножко на иврите.
Ага. Идиш?
Угу.
Итальянский?
Турецкий, итальянский.
Oh my goodness.
А всего 10 языков.
So I just asked Grisha how many languages she speaks. So, and you might have heard that there were many languages. So she actually can speak about 7 languages. And she's also a singer, a musician, and a teacher. So Emma teaches English, teaches Spanish, and runs the drama club at a school in St. Petersburg. And she speaks, well, she can sing in 10 languages. Can you imagine? 10 languages. She was born, hold on a moment. I will set the camera the right way. I do hope so. Yeah. So you can see this is her going to school the 1st of September. And she was born in St. Petersburg. But then, well, St. Petersburg at that time was 1946 when she was born. It was called Leningrad, obviously. And 2 years after, she moved to Estonia, which was also part of the Soviet Union. And she lived there up until she was just about to leave school. And she would go to university in St. Petersburg, in Leningrad. But she was not allowed to enter the university she wanted to, like the St. Petersburg, Leningrad State University, because she had a Jewish last name, which was a big deal, Rabinovich. So she was Emma Rabinovich. So obviously there was no time for Emma Rabinovich at Leningrad State University. А это кто, Гриш, у нее? Это папа. This is your daddy. Yes, this is your daddy. And my son Misha, whom you might know from the history of Jewish diaspora tours, is the only son. And you can imagine, you can understand why my husband is so talented in music and also speaks multiple languages, because he's definitely his mother's son, right? That's him. A few more photos we would like to share. So she also runs the drama club. А это кто, Гриш? Who's that?
Это бабушка, это дедушка.
What is his name? What is his name of your grandfather? The name. Yes. What is the name?
This is Emma, this is Bora.
Yes, this is Emma, this is Boria, of course. So this is my parents-in-law, and last year my father-in-law died. You might remember the story of the trip that my husband had to take and how he got out of St. Petersburg at times of mobilization. Yes, this is Misha's father, late father. So apart from just teaching the languages, she also runs the drama club. And she's been teaching and running the drama club for 30 years now. Together, of course, you can imagine how difficult it was in the Soviet times to run a drama club. She studied to be a teacher, a language teacher, and in her free time she would do a lot of translation because she could speak that many languages. And she just started also, she happened to study to be a theater producer. And then she approached the head of the school and offered to, how about I actually run a drama club? I think our school needs some art, some theater. And she's been running the theater for over 30 years. Can you imagine that? Obviously with the huge help from her husband, because in the 80s and the 90s, those were very difficult times for first, like for the Soviet Union, and then in the post-Soviet Union times. Her husband was one of the major sponsors for all the theater preps, for all the specs, for everything on the stage. Okay, let's go on, Grisha. What is that? Что тут такое? Посмотри.
Сказать, как ее зовут?
Нет, что она здесь делает? What is she doing here? На чем она играет?
Ну, я хотела сказать на английском, только как-то уже забыла.
Is she playing a piano? Is she playing piano?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. It's okay. Don't worry. Не переживай. Все хорошо, Гриша. That's right. So she also sings and she plays piano, a guitar, and I'm pretty sure she plays a gazillion of other musical instruments, because she's been singing even before she actually started to speak properly. So she was very musical. She's very musical from the very beginning, and she can sing in 10 languages. Without an accent, with the proper melodies, with proper toning and everything. Even in her early years, just about in her college years, she would make up a band called the Dilettantes, where they sang in those different languages, like 10 languages, including Yiddish, because her father spoke Yiddish. Well, both her parents were Jewish. They spoke German, they spoke Estonian, Russian, but Yiddish was never really spoken in the family, because you can imagine those were really difficult times, and the Jews were afraid of constant persecution. And but she could sing in Yiddish, and she heard songs in Yiddish, and the band would have been actually quite successful, but the committee, back in the days, you had to be part of a committee in order to be given a job, in order to be, if you're an artist, in order to be exhibited somewhere or perform somewhere, you were supposed to be a member of a certain organization. But that organization said, okay, you're talented, but you should be singing the Komsomol songs. And they said, no, we're not going to sing Komsomol songs. Let's sing songs about love. But of course, know about the Komsomol, about the youth organization, the communist organization. So So that didn't happen, but you might remember from several other tours that she actually had a duo with a friend, and they were called the Leningrad Sister Berries, for a while. А это кто у нее? What is it? Is it a doll?
Yes.
Yes, it's a doll. So
Да,
конечно, скажи.
Это кукла Бабу. Это вот Бабу, а это вот кукла. Они реально похожи, только у нее какие-то такие маленькие глаза, рта нету.
Well, after 30 years, я сейчас расскажу. After 30 years of teaching and leading a drama club at school, and after like every year, there would be a new performance released and played by the school kids that she would teach. You can imagine there are thousands of school leavers that admire her, and every year for every theater performance, they would come and they would celebrate another performance. They would just celebrate her, Emma, and they would give her presents. So the entire house is full of different photographs, artworks done by her talented students, and photographs. And she has gazillions of friends on all the socials, because you can imagine the network of the people that she raised and she taught and she prepared for the adult life. So she only teaches in the high school, which are crucially important, the formative years for the young teenagers. Yes, she's safe out there unless she speaks up openly, obviously. So yeah, but her job has nothing to do with politics. She just tries to make sure the kids are raised the proper way. So Grisha, hold on a second. Okay, I promise there are going to be other remarkable Jewish women, but okay, who is that? Who is that? I know, it's you, Grisha. So this is Grisha at his very, very young age. I think he's a couple months old. And of course, he doesn't like to talk about it. He was a bit embarrassed, so I embarrassed my son. But, for many, many years, of course, you can imagine that they waited for a grandchild. And, there he is. And we miss her a lot. And we can't wait for her to join us. But this is also a family pic in the pre-war times, like long before the war. We also, for her job is everything. And now, of course, she's not alone there. She has friends and thousands of former students, former pupils that she taught. But her work is her life, and she chose the work after having lost her husband to cancer. The war and everything, despite everything, she's still there and doing what she does the best. And yes, Misha does take after his father. This is true. And this is also... Кто это, Grish? Who is it? Is it your dog? What's his name?
Мне сказать еще пару слов о Дюше.
Конечно, Дюша, that's right. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Это Дюша. Но у него настоящее имя Дюк.
Yes, so this is our dog. The dog is being taken care of by Emma and friends of our family.
Да, это вот Бабу, вот это в пуховике такой, очки.
Yeah, that's right. So,
волосы сливаются с черным пуховиком, у него волосы черные, и она...
Yeah, but the thing is, you can imagine, she's in her 70s, middle 70s, and even in her 70s, she would have enough energy to teach 5 days a week, 2 languages, run a drama club, and then come every weekend to see us in the countryside, play with Grisha, take our dog for a walk, and she still does this. Absolutely fantastic. So we do admire her, obviously. And just one last image. Как думаешь, что здесь происходит?
Это вот все ее школьники.
Mm-hmm.
А это вот она делает какой-то концерт,
This is one of the gazillions of concerts that Emma have run in her life. It's not just the performance that is run like every year in the end of the school year, but there are different contests like before the war they were like international contests, concerts, the exchange programs with Italy, with the States, and different competitions, the dancing competitions, the singing competitions. She also runs amateur translators club. They translate poetry from Spanish to Russian, like Lorca, for example, Gabriel Garcia Lorca, the poetic translation of Lorca's poems into Russian. So, and no wonder that she is the best teacher of St. Petersburg. She is the best teacher of Russia. She is, one of the most honored, one of the most praised teachers in the city. So this is all Emma, and this is the outstanding woman. And by the way, Grisha, it was Grisha's choice. It was Grisha's idea to talk about his grandma. And I believe that, well, of course, you can understand Grisha's a bit embarrassed, and he was being very, very nervous. But хочешь что-нибудь еще сказать, Гриш, про бабушку? А? Нет, все, больше не будет картинок. Все, больше картинок не будет. Давай сюда вставай, чтобы была у тебя фотография. So, as you can imagine, like we didn't really rehearse it. It's very hard to rehearse anything with a 7-year-old, but this was his idea, and I was so touched by it. So this is why there's a little bit of a strange thing. Да, конечно.
Короче, мама родилась в 1946 году. И когда ей было 2 года, она могла увидеть, как Израиль, как мандатскую Палестину начинают называть Израилем в 1948 году.
Oh my goodness!
И дали ей название 14 мая 1948 году название Израиль.
Oh my goodness! We also didn't rehearse it. We just talked about it probably once. That he just mentioned that Emma was born in 1946, and 2 years after she witnessed the state of Israel being born. And my son knows the date the state of Israel was established, the 14th of May, 1948. Oh my goodness, it just dawned on me that my son knows it by heart. Oh my goodness, спасибо, Гриша, так здорово. Ну, давай что-нибудь скажи напоследок зрителям и пойдешь гулять. So he's just about to go for a walk with his dad. It's his Friday evening walk, and I can't deprive him of that.
Один раз она приехала в гости, но не на 1 день, не на несколько часов, а на несколько дней.
Okay.
На несколько дней. Вот там, например, наверное, неделю и несколько дней. Может быть, даже 10 дней.
Так, и что? And what?
11. И мы с ней жили, и она у нас спала. Она у нас спала в той же спальне, где спит папа. Когда она к нам переезжала и оставалась с нами на ночь, папа спал с нами в кровати вдвоем.
Okay.
Вдвоем. А она спала одна, вот там на кровати.
Did you like that time?
И просыпалась через несколько часов. А пока мы вставали и быстро ели.
Ты скучаешь по ней?
Ну да, немножко скучаю. У нее дом прикольненький.
Ты скучаешь, да, по тем временам, когда она с тобой была?
Да. Еще есть...
Yeah, so Grisha just wanted to share one of the memories. Because she's a working grandma, she wouldn't come to see us very often, nearly every weekend, only for one night. She would come to the country house we used to live back in St. Petersburg, and she would, but we should just remember that once she would come for the entire, a whole school break. I think it was a spring school break. For about a week she came, and Grisha remembered that how every day he would wake up and wait for her to wake up. Like he would always give her some time, just to sleep a little longer. And then they would spend the whole day together. And like we miss that. And I see that Grisha misses that. And when at the very beginning I asked him if he liked it in Israel, he first said yes, but then there's always this thing that he associates that being in Israel because of the war, like, because he misses grandma and he misses many things from his previous life, but he's getting along. He's getting along, and I'm so grateful, Grisha, for all this. Sir? Okay, let's say goodbye. Say bye-bye to everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Скажи на иврите. Прощайся на иврите. Лейтраут.
Можно мне сказать, что я иду на площадку?
Конечно.
Я иду на площадку играть со своими друзьями. Вот уже пришел мой друг Лев. Он из соседнего класса в моей школе. Моя школа называется Псакот.
אוקיי. פסגות זה השם של בית ספר שלך, כן?
Да.
Okay. So now he's going for a walk with his friend.
Название нашего класса Киталев Мирон.
Yes. So he's just now going to play. So you can go. Oh, hold on.
Go.
Yes, and so this is us, just in case. So this has been a bit. I don't know. We've been a bit nervous. This is for sure. Thank you so much. Bye. Say bye. Later. Okay. So иди, go. You can go, Grisha. You can go. So I swear this hasn't been rehearsed. Well, I think you kind of feel that, right? Okay, so again, it was his idea. He asked me, Mom, are you running any tours currently? And I said, yes, of course, I'm running the tours about outstanding Jewish women. And if you want to join, and I asked him, do you want to join? He said, yes. And I asked him, okay, what would you like to talk about? And then he said, well, if you're talking about some cool Jewish women, maybe we talk about the grandma. So it was his idea. Isn't it fantastic, right? Okay, let me know how it looks. For some reason, I can't really do it the way I did it just a few minutes ago. I don't know why. Okay, hold on a second. I think I just need to zoom it in. Maybe this will help. How about that? I have no idea what's going on. Okay, so I prepared some really many stories for you, but I'm not sure how much time we have, but I promise that I will be sharing the recording of this tour in case you want to catch up with it again, or if you just join later, or I know that some of you would actually have to leave halfway. I hope Sharon has been able to catch up with at least Grisha's part. I know she wanted to very, very much. Okay, how does it look? Thank you so much, everyone. And of course, by the way, Grisha didn't ask for his share of the tips, but of course I will be sharing with him. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the tipping and kind words. A bit embarrassing, but also touchy, like really, really touchy. And well, like for me, when we moved to Israel, when we made Aliyah, it was in a hurry after the war, and it was like tough, and he didn't know like for how long we stayed, and we didn't say like at that point. But then after a few weeks, when he actually asked me, Mom, how long are we going to stay? I just told everything. I told about the war. I told everything, so he knows the truth. And since then, he just asked me, Mom, is the war still on? And I say yes, and that's so. So like, it's a little bit, it's emotional, but he's doing a lot. He's really doing fine. Okay, so Bella Aptuk. Well, this is quite a woman, and I actually I've been meaning to share her story with you since day one, but there were so many other women and the topics that I wanted to bring up, so I just decided to leave it for part 4. The story of Bella Aptuk, like it's like I told you, it's like my choice, and it's not necessarily about Jewish women that would make Aliyah to Israel, that would live in Israel. It's not necessarily about that. And being a Zionist, well, it also doesn't necessarily mean like live in Israel to finally make Aliyah to Israel. But well, I would say her impact, her heritage, well, it's really remarkable. She's from the States, and she didn't make Aliyah to Israel. She would visit Palestine, she would visit Israel, but her life was concentrated like around the life of the Jewish communities and women communities and women's rights, regardless of their ancestry, regardless of their religion, in the States, about the women's rights, about the legislation to about the equality of women, so, and the politics. So that's why I believe that she's like, this is also an important woman to talk about. And as we go, I just want you to read this and to see this. So yes, she, in a way, she was a religious woman, but she would go like really on the next level. So she is one of the leaders of the women's movement, like equal of the equal rights. So she both wanted to make sure that the women inside the Jewish communities, which are, well, like, still wouldn't assimilate much, but, well, in a way, depending on like different, different sort of denominations and types of Judaism. Like, for example, it could be an Orthodox, or it still can be a Reformant. But she wanted to make sure, like, regardless of the group that Jewish women would relate to, she wanted to make sure, and non-religious women would have equal rights, would be given equal rights and equal treatment. That was a big issue for her. She was there. She presided in the first National Women's Conference. She would represent the Jewish women. She would represent actually the whole class of women. She was there. She would make it to the Congress. She would make it to the television. She would attract attention and the funds to have several charities that helped women throughout the 20th century. That was a big idea. So she was born in Bronx, in fact, in 1920s, in quite a religious family, and she would be taken to synagogue every week. Of course, she would be in the women's section, but she would remember everything. She had the fantastic memory and the fantastic orator skills, and she, afterwards, like in the middle school, she would become one of the heads of the, like, a small, school unions, and she would give fantastic speeches. And even before that, at home, she would be reciting the prayer. She would be reciting the speeches that she would hear in the synagogue and in the gatherings. She was there. And she wanted, and staying there, like in the women's section, like she kind of felt a little bit, mistreated. And she wanted to make sure that at least in the life, there wouldn't be this separation, right, between the men and women, and women wouldn't have to hide behind behind the mechitza. Mechitza is the name for this, the sort of the wall, the separation between the women's and men's section at the synagogue. And she was the daughter of a butcher. Again, so it was a religious family, but since like her early childhood, she definitely showed the qualities of a rebel. And she would play with the boys. She would collect all the cards, would exchange them. She would run around the neighborhood. She would play the boys' games, and her family would not prohibit that. And she always had that spirit of a rebel. And her mom would eventually call her a battling Bala. Not the politics, not the media, but her mom. When her father died, she was at the age of 13 when it happened, or around that age. She started to give the private classes. She spoke Hebrew, so she would help with Hebrew. She would also help with the home assignments, like when she was a school kid. So she, from a very early age, she would start like helping her family, providing the family. And when she entered the university, she would become the head of the students' union. And it's interesting that she wasn't admitted to Harvard because the Harvard up until like 1952 did not accept women. So she would have to study at a different educational facility, and she became one of the she entered the Columbia University Law School, and she won a scholarship, and she was one of the brightest students there. She became the head of all these students' unions. Fantastic, right? So she was a lawyer, and but she didn't like concentrate only on her career. She was married, and her husband, he would support her every step in the way. And the inequality, not only like regarding the women or just the Jewish community, but just the inequality on a racial basis, it was something that really was a trigger for her. And she was a lawyer. She was a defendant in the Willie McGee trial. It was one of those stories that would really fit the narrative of the Black Lives Matters movement, but it was like a long time ago, right? And so there was the black man that was accused of raping a woman he was in a like very long consecutive consensual relationship with, and she reached twice. The court would wait till they rule out the final decision. But well, she lost anyway, and now we know that the McGilly was falsely accused, but he was executed back in those days in that state that it happened. So it was still the capital punishment, and she had a miscarriage. She was pregnant when she worked with the case, and she couldn't leave that case. And she had a miscarriage. Eventually, she would have children, and later on, she would concentrate on the less, I would say, demanding trials, cases. And despite her work in a very secular field, and also despite work around men, around lawyers, around the politician, she would still be a very respected member of her community. But she wanted to make sure that even in the synagogue, even in religion, men and women would be treated equally. And of course, she wouldn't go very much against the traditions of the Jewish prayer and how things work in Judaism. But well, yes, there was a Reformist movement, and there were many women who wanted to still stay connected with their background, with their religion, but they wanted some inequality. So that's why she was the one who established this community of women that would go. They would gather for Pesach and run the Seder Pesach and the Shabbat and do everything without men. They were single women. They were working women. They were Jewish women that just didn't want only to concentrate on the family, or who just hadn't built a family yet. And so they had the community there for themselves as well. And she did like everything alongside with the career, the community, the religion. So she was still religious. She kept kosher, and everything she would do at one and the same time. And hold on a second. I just want to make sure everything works properly. Hold on a moment. She also met with the Hadassah, with the women from the Hadassah movement. She helped raise the funds that would later on be donated to the establishing of the medical facilities in Israel. As I told you, she would arrange many political fundraisers. She would arrange many events that would help raise the money for Israel. So she didn't make Aliyah, right? She stayed in the States, but again, funding organizations and making sure the Jewish women outside Israel would be treated equally, it was a big deal, and she did, and she managed to reach a lot. She achieved a lot, and well, I'm not sure if she's well remembered in the States. I don't really think so, at least from what, like, all the information I managed to source. And of course, she's not she's not really known in Israel as well. And but I believe that, well, okay, it's not even just making Aliyah to Israel, but it's just being a Jewish woman and making sure that other Jewish women be helped, be given a hand of help, and help them adapt in the new reality. Making sure they just have equal treatment. They provided equal. They just treat it equal. I believe this is something essential, and she managed to build it up. Yes, she would go against some of the laws, the religious laws, right? She would, well, yes, she would, yeah, so she would be considered as, well, okay, by some Orthodox Jews, she would be considered a heretic. This is true, but still, like, the impact and the memory that she left after herself, I believe it should be remembered both in the States, in the Jewish communities, and not only, just like I told you, the race, the nation was not an issue for her. So inequality on the basis of anything was the issue for her. And, well, I believe it should be remembered. So this would be it. There are a couple more women that I wanted to talk about, but obviously I wanted to give floor to my son to talk about one more outstanding Jewish woman. Thank you so much. Yes, it's been a bit of a biased tour about a grandma, but I do believe she's remarkable, not because just she's a grandma, but because of, like, everything she has been doing, she has done. I do believe so. And Risha did a great job. Like, yeah, he's only 7. It's like, he didn't really rehearse, and like, I didn't make him learn anything by heart. So that's just how it goes. So yes, Karen, I answered that question. So yeah, hopefully she is safe. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. What is your Instagram address? So I am Anna your guide on Instagram. So you just have to, or you can just say Anna Levina, and I will be among the first Anna's Levinas that you can find there. So Anna your guide, a guide to Israel, a guide to St. Petersburg, like, it's all there. And it's a bit devastating, you know. I'm not in myself. It feels so weird. Like, all of this feels so weird. I'm so sorry we have to go through this. I'm really sorry. It should have been done the other way. I do believe it. I believe it should have been done the other way. It should have been done differently. Anyway, thank you so much for everything. And I'm not saying goodbye. There are still many tours, and I'm not gonna say goodbye and by no means I'm saying goodbye to you. And we'll definitely stay in touch. What are the other platforms? So you can just go check my my tap link, my Instagram, my Facebook. So there are several more platforms that I'm working with. Okay, so it's World Virtual Tours, whatever. And also the Beyonder, and a few more platforms. You can find me there. All the links are provided on my Instagram. And by the way, just in case, there will be some tours that, there will be also tours about some St. Petersburg tours, also tours about Rasputin, and some more tours that I either ran a long time ago for Hegel, or I have never run for some reasons. Thank you so much, and see you. Not a goodbye, but see you soon.